It's time for Downtown Hockeytown, presented by Labatt Blue Light. And today's guest is joining us all the way from Sweden. It's Jonathan Ekliew. Jonathan, thank you so much. We are really excited to have you today.
Well, hi everybody, and thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, how are you guys doing?
We're doing wonderful. Like I said, we're just excited. And we know we have a lot of Red Wings prospects currently playing over in Sweden. So we're excited to touch base with you on that. But first, why don't you introduce yourself, Jonathan? Tell everybody what you do.
Yeah, I'm a hockey journalist in Sweden, based in Stockholm. I cover hockey, almost only hockey, and foremost, mostly the NHL. I have a podcast in Sweden solely about the NHL. So I'm up all night during the seasons because, for example, Detroit games, they start at 1 p.m. in the night, 1 a.m. actually, not 1 p.m. And so at this time of year when there's no NHL, I get to sleep at least. So now I'm doing pretty fine right now, actually.
Well, I am curious, Jonathan, then did you grow up a Red Wings fan? Because we consider Sweden like the 51st state of the United States here in Detroit, because it has the Red Wings have such a Swedish flavor and have had such a Swedish flavor on their team for decades now.
Well, you can I understand why you think so, and there's many Swedish Red Wings fans here, but I was such a diehard NHL fan when I grew up, so I didn't want to support the most Swedish team. Because I thought that was a little mainstream. So to me, the Red Wings haven't really been a favorite team. I'm sorry for that, but I people who listen to my podcast in Sweden, they know which team I support, and I don't know if I dare to say it here, but I can say they are the.
Oh yeah.
They are the reigning Stanley Cup champion.
The Tampa Bay Lightning,
the team that I support. Yeah, so Steve Eisman's former team. Yeah,
we'll take that. That's second best right there. Yeah. Steve Eisman built them, right?
Yeah, if it wasn't for the Red Wings, Steve Yzerman would be nothing. So I mean, so in a strange way, all roads lead back to Detroit for you.
Yeah, I see. And I'm very thankful for what Eisman did for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into talking some of these prospects that we have playing over in Sweden right now. And let's start with some of the newest Red Wings prospects, Lucas Regner and Theodor Niederbach. They were both taken in the 2020 NHL draft. So, Jonathan, why don't you start with Lucas Regner? What kind of player is he?
His talent is enormous. I think he will be a first-line winger for the Red Wings pretty soon. He's a really entertaining player in juniors here in Sweden. He's been really dominant, and also in the junior national teams. He's I think he will become a game breaker, because that's what he's been in juniors. He's been absolutely tearing it up in the junior league here. Now he's starting to come into his own in the men's league. The other night he had an awesome assist in the SHL for Frölunda in the men's league, where he deked past two defensemen, then a perfect pass to a linemate who scored a goal. So and he's starting to get pretty big minutes. Plays 15, 16 minutes a night with the big boys. So he's a really good player. His shot, his speed, and his confidence. He plays with confidence.
And then Theodor Niederbach, he plays in Frölunda as well, but for the junior team, correct?
Yeah, he plays for the junior team, and at this moment they have actually the junior league here in Sweden won't play until 2021 because of the coronavirus. He's been absolutely too good for that league too. But Frölunda is the best team in Sweden, so it's hard for every young guy to get playing time there. I mean, Lucas Regner's too good, so they just have to give him a big role there in the men's team. But Niederbach is a little bit in between because he's too good for junior team, but not really mature enough maybe to get a big role in Frölunda's SHL team. So I think he will be loaned out probably to the second tier division here, probably maybe to Modo. I know maybe you recognize that team. It's the team that Peter Forsberg played. Peter Forsberg played for here in Sweden. Victor Hedman, the Sedin brothers, twins. Marcus Naslund, he's from that area of Niederbach. So I think he will play there maybe later this season.
Let's go to another player that we here in North America would label as a late bloomer. Red Wing fans have tended to forget about him, and that is Matthias Bromia, who is a little bit older, signed as a free agent. The Red Wings could only sign him for a year, but if it works out, I'm sure that Steve would sign him longer. But what can you tell us about Bromia, who seems to be playing extremely well?
Well, I have to say that he is from the same area in Stockholm that I am from. So shout out to Örby, yeah, and he's a really competitive player. Really a little bit nasty. He plays with an edge, and he's always. You said he's a late bloomer. He's always proven people wrong. That's a factor that kind of drives him. So I wouldn't say that he has top line potential in the NHL, but he always proves people wrong. So maybe I really like his drive. He's a passionate player, and he is also putting up a lot of points here. And I think he could also really fit into a role as a middle six, maybe bottom six player in the NHL, because he's an energetic player who really can accept his role in a team.
Another player I want to ask you about really seems to is Albert Johansson, defenseman. I know that the Red Wings are very, very high on him.
Yeah, I like Albert. He's a really entertaining two-way defenseman, offensive, maybe more offensive defenseman. He's a fan favorite in Färjestad, the team he plays in. And his dad is kind of a legend in that club too, so that's it's a good family there. And he started this season really good. He's an entertaining offensive defenseman, I would say, and I think he will be a good NHL player in 2-3 years' time. I think maybe he needs a little bit more time to mature and get bigger and stronger, but he's a good player.
Next on our list, Jonathan, someone that has been making headlines recently, especially, well, I should say even over here in the United States, is Jonathan Berggren, who was drafted in the second round in 2018 by the Red Wings. Can you give us an update on him?
Yeah, he's doing really great here. A colleague of mine who's a columnist at the newspaper I work for called him the biggest sensation of the season here in Sweden, which I guess is great news for you Red Wings fans. He's the leading scoring player for Swedish guys in the league. Has more than a point per game, and is really doing great. I thought that he would have a breakthrough in this league earlier in his career, but his career has been slowed down by injuries, both in his back, and he had a shoulder injury last season. But he said in interviews that it has been kind of a blessing because that has he's had a lot of time to build muscles in the gym and become a bigger and stronger player because he's a big, smallish guy. So now he's more of a complete package. I think he has to become a little more stronger to adapt to the NHL. But skill-wise, he's a top prospect, I would say.
Couple of players that Red Wing fans very familiar with that are not of Swedish descent. First of all is Moritz Seider, the big German kid that the Red Wings shocked the world and drafted him 6th overall in 2019. But it sounds like Mo Seider is adapting very well to the Swedish league.
Yeah, he's doing really good. I think he's the best defenseman right now in the league. He's only played, when we record this, he's only played 6 or 7 games, but he's a point per game player as a defenseman. And I think at the first games, when you look at underlying numbers, he was absolutely terrific. He was leading the league in Corsi, for example. I really, you can just watch him for 1 minute and you see that he's good for this league. He's so composed, he's so poised, he's so calm. He's such a calm presence on the ice, and you imagine how young he is when he plays like that. So I think that Detroit was really right at drafting him so early, because he's a gem.
Another one would be Joe Veleno, who at this point, everyone thinks he's at least a third-line center in the NHL. And if his offense comes around, he could certainly be a top six forward in the NHL level. How is Joe progressing?
Well, the other night, we actually have a game between Joe Veleno and Moritz Seider. It was a rivalry game here in the southern part of Sweden between Veleno's Malmö and Moritz Seider's Rögle. And Rögle is at absolute top of the table. And unfortunately, I have to say that Veleno's Malmö is dead last in the league right now. So he plays in a team that really struggles. But I am pretty impressed with him. He hasn't produced a lot of points yet. He's the second line center. The first line guy right now there is a Swede who's a prospect of the San Jose Sharks, Fredrik Handemark. But Veleno is doing pretty okay. He's playing 17, 18 minutes a night on the power play, on the penalty kill.
But Veleno and Seider were roommates in Grand Rapids. Did they mix it up on the ice a little bit? Was there a little bit of trash talking going on between the two of them?
Well, I saw the game, but actually I didn't know. But maybe there was some of that. But yeah. Actually Malmö didn't score a goal. Rögle won that game pretty easily. So I think Seider really has the bragging rights, at least.
Well, Jonathan, that is all the time we have. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. It has been great catching up with you, and we're definitely going to have you back on again to get an update on all of these guys that we have playing in right now.
Thank you very much for having me, and I wish you a good week here, and I hope we will see NHL hockey anytime soon.
Very soon. We're all hoping for that.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
again, Jonathan. And a big thank you to Labatt Blue Light for presenting Downtown Hockeytown. Labatt Blue Light, refreshing Canadian Pilsner. Visit your local retailer when safe to pick up some Labatt Blue Light.